Now, for the first week of May, Nio reported total NEV insurance registrations for 1,100. The second week, it was 1,200. And today, ladies and gents, we got to receive the NEV insurance registrations for the third week. And these are for the period which ended in this past week, Saturday. Now, ladies and gents, without wasting any more of your time, Nio last week, or for the period which ended last week, or the third week of May, Nio saw their NEV insurance coming at, of course, 1,400. Yes, this is better than the first and second week, but one thing for sure is that these NEV insurance registrations for Nio are still very low, which is something that is, of course, worrisome to some of the retail investors, but to others, I think we all know what this might mean. Now, this might mean that there are a lot of consumers that are waiting to get to finally see the price tag of the Nio ES6, because one thing that I think I once said about in one of my videos, the reason why Nio need to be strategic when they price this new Nio ES6 is the fact that they need to not price it closer or take it closer to the 85 in terms of the price, because that will still away the people that are supposed to buy the 85. Even with the EL7 or ES7, they need to not take it closer to that. So it must be, or price wise, Nio must price this vehicle somewhere between the price of the ET5 and of course the ES7. That is where, of course, we will find, of course, this car, of course, selling well. So what is happening, or what, of course, even on this report that we got to read today is happening, is that, of course, there are quite a number of Nio consumers that are waiting to get to see the price tag on the new Nio ES6. That is, or these are some of the assumptions that, of course, some of the investors are saying, or some of the reports are saying, which is something that, like I said, we've discussed on this channel. So am I worried about today's deliveries? Maybe not, because I know that, of course, after tomorrow, then we are obviously going to get to see maybe a revive from these, of course, insurance or NEV insurance registration figures, because we know that on Thursday, Nio is starting with the sales of this model, which is something that is incredible, because this is a model which is expected to do very well. So the 1,400, I know for now, are quite poor, probably, deliveries or sales, but obviously I hope, or one thing for sure is that we hope that from next week we can start seeing, of course, good figures, because we know that from next week Nio would have started with the sales of the new ES6 model, which is expected to do very well. I mean, though Leo is not in the same segment as Nio, we cannot ignore the kind of good numbers they are producing almost on a week-to-week recently from the NEV insurance registrations, which is something that is, of course, good for Leo, because, ladies and gents, their deliveries continue growing, which is something that we would also like to see coming from Nio, especially after the official unveiling or the start of the deliveries of the new Nio ES6. Now, before we forget, the absolutely already know that this video is just an entertainment video and not a professional financial advice video. And I really appreciate if you can just hit the likes button if you do enjoy, or if you are enjoying the content that I'm giving you about Nio reporting, or us seeing Nio reporting total NEV insurance registrations of around 1,400 for last week, which is, yeah, a low number or a low figure from Nio, knowing very well that obviously Nio has previously reached over 3,000 NEV insurance registration. So we know that under normal circumstances, Nio is supposed to be delivering over 3,000 NEV insurance registration. But ever since Nio sort of like announced that they will be doing an unveiling of the ES6 at the Shanghai Auto Show, and the deliveries are expected to start soon, we have sort of like seen these, of course, NEV insurance registrations from Nio sort of like lagging behind, or Nio struggling in terms of producing the insurance registrations figures, which is something that, of course, it has been one thing that is of course disappointing some retail investors like myself. Though I know that part of the reason might be a lot of people are waiting for the new models, but there are other new models that Nio has started selling, like the new Nio EC7, which obviously that model, though it is quite pricey, it is one of the models that is expected to do very well. But yeah, I'm just hoping that indeed we get to see, of course, more deliveries or more sales from Nio coming after, of course, the official unveiling and delivering of this new Nio ES6. I'm hoping for the best, but I must say that looking at the streets of social media, or looking at the current sentiment around the ES6, it looks like this might be, or this is one of the models that might be a breakthrough, or that might bring breakthrough on a Nio, which is something that obviously, should we get to see that, then it will be quite interesting. I'm very excited. And by the way, a couple of minutes ago, Nio officially released a statement on their website saying that indeed tomorrow there will be official unveiling of the new Nio ES6, and deliveries are expected to start on Thursday, which is something that I think it's a sort of like a bullish sentiment, because we know that that is a car that is expected to revive, of course, the Nio deliveries. And after that, of course, unveiling and the deliveries of that vehicle start, I think we are going to get to see, of course, demand coming back to some of these models or some of the Nio cars that which they are selling, like the ET5, like the EC7. We are going to start to see traction, or more traction, coming from those vehicles, as consumers will now know the price tag on the Nio ES6. The fact that consumers don't know the price tag of the Nio ES6, it is the biggest challenge, because what if they buy the ES7, then this EC6 comes very cheap and with, of course, more features when comparing to the ES7. That is another thing. Or what is, of course, what if this car even comes cheaper like the ET5, then there won't be probably need for people or for the consumers to consider buying that ET5, which is the main problem, or which might be the main issue with the current sentiments around the, or affecting the Nio sales. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I just thought I'd just give you this quick update. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click that notification bell, so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And before you load the boat, buy Nio for the very first time, please do make sure that you do your own due diligence, that at least you can be comfortable when you are investing onto this Nio stock. Otherwise, I am crossing my fingers tomorrow that, of course, Nio put a price tag, or a good price tag, onto this, of course, Nio ES6. I mean, personally, I would really like them to price it over $50,000, so that at least they can also get the good margins out of this, or the good gross margin out of this model, which will be so incredible. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best, and God bless you all.